about judging. Excited. So we'll go, maybe we'll mute everybody. I mute you all and you have to unmute yourself if you want to talk at some stage. Okay. Oh, thank you for recording already, Jay. So, just sit in your beautiful upright and at the same time relaxed position. Eyes closed, and then just drop right inside into your body, connecting with your breath, just observing for now. Just observing how the breath is connecting us to everything. The breath is connecting us to the trees, because the trees produce the oxygen we breathe in. And you could go even further into the biological cycle. And then just think of the beauty, what is happening inside with your breath. The nourishment, so that our cells can function. The whole circulation, blood circulation, doing all the transporting work in and out. It's all a cycle again, like everything in life. We don't appreciate often enough how beautiful everything is in our body, and how everything works together, how unified we are. So as you now focus on your exhalation, relaxing through the whole body from the top to the bottom, putting the information of relax into the exhalation, observing what happens with that information, with the chi flowing through the body from the top to the bottom. Are you thinking it? Relax. And I'm pretty sure you are already connected to your heart with experiencing the beauty of the totality of the breath. So just bring it with even more awareness to your spiritual heart. Allow that heart space to open up, however that is best for you. All these things are very individual. There is no one way in anything, as we know. So be playful, be creative. Explore what works for you to open your heart, to experience that vastness of the heart, that bright light of our heart, this true self shining from the heart. Connect and feel the trust in your heart. The trust in your heart, actually. The trust into your true self. And the trust in the universe. Connect to all of them. Does that open the space even further? Feel the love in your heart. The love for your heart, for your true self, and for the universe. Let it spread out, and let's connect with each other's bright light in our heart and with that love. Unifying. And just observe how that feels in your heart. Again, very individual. I feel a lot of joy. What do you feel? And then let's connect with everybody in the Range Chi field. And Tori and Alberto are doing a class right now with probably a lot of people in the class. Let's connect to them. Let's crash the class with our hearts. Boom. And then to everybody in the universe. To that bright light of everybody. They might not even know it's there. We do. We can connect to it. The planet is shining bright now with love. And then connect to the whole universe. Just allow yourself to become the universe. Everybody is the universe. Everything is unified. In this unified state, let's connect to the wisdom of the universe. It is already there inside of us. So let's connect to it. So that when we listen and talk today, we'll do it from this place. We are connecting to our true self. And with connecting to the true self, we connect to the wisdom of the universe. Because it is the same. It's one thing. Yes, we can do this. So bring this awareness of who you are with you. When you bring your awareness back to the breathing, to the more physical part of the breathing, the sensation of the breath. And then you can either keep your eyes closed or open up, whatever you like, as I'm going to do a little talking about my thoughts on judgment. I had in the last month or so a few times when I kind of thought about judging and also talked to my partner John about judging. So I want to share with you about that. So what I realized is, that judging is always connected to patterns. We judge, and if we look at our judgment, then it has to do normally with a pattern, like, I think, this person, this person has put quite a lot of weight on, kind of can be connected to a bit of competitiveness. Deep inside, I feel a little bit of satisfaction about that, maybe, because I'm already a bit damaged when it comes to weight stuff, for example. Or, fixed expectation. I judge my partner for not doing something I want him to do. Because normally, I expect him to do something. So I judge him. All sorts of things. So at the end of the day, judging is a very good indicator for a pattern being in play. It's one of these alarm things which can go off. When you catch yourself judging, you can say, oh, I'm judging. What is it? Where is it coming from? A great chance to see a pattern. And let's not judge ourselves for judging. That would be the wrong way. Let's be smiling at ourselves when we see us judging. Ourselves judging, Oh, I'm judging again. We need to take these things a little bit lighter, otherwise it can get very heavy. Oh no, I'm judging again. I'm such a bad person. So very important to stay gentle with ourselves. So judging, very connected to patterns. That's why we see it all the time. It's not a separate pattern. It's actually every pattern has to do with judgment. What I found really interesting, and I just want you to observe that then yourself a bit, in your life. When do you judge, and then try to see the connection to a pattern? But what John and I were talking about a while ago was, like, he really struggled. He said, I don't know how I cannot judge, and he has made a few not so nice experiences with people, and so he goes often into a judgment state, because he said, if I don't, then I get, you know, hurt and people mistreat me and they use me and so on. And then we were discussing about that for a while because I thought, now there must be a solution to this. There must be a solution to this because I could understand where he's coming from. So what we ended up with was that there are two types of judgment. Now, this is our theory, okay? Please, I don't know if Yonsei would put the signature under this. So we have the judging, which I was just talking about, which are connected to patterns. You know, we're judging somebody that way. And then I call it, we're making a judgment. So sometimes in life, as we know, to be safe, for example, we have to make a judgment. Is this safe or is this not safe? When it's really about safety. You know, if it's dark and I walk down a dark alley and there comes somebody towards me, then I need to make a judgment what I need to do, because that person might look very dodgy. So it's a judgment. I say, oh, this person looks very dodgy. It's a kind of a judgment if you look at it, but at the same time, it's making a judgment that I need to be safe. It doesn't mean that I judge that person for looking dodgy. That would be the other judgment. That's not the making a judgment, that is the judging. So the same was, you know, let's say I want to rent out my house. You know, there come different people in, and I need to make a judgment on who I want to give my house. You know, and I might decide, oh, these people, you know, I don't have such a great feeling about, you know, the way they have been talking to me and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like, it's a judgment. I make a judgment about that, but I don't judge them for the way they have been talking to me, for the way they look or whatever. You know, it's kind of, I have to make a decision who I'm going to rent out my house. I don't know if this is a good example. It's a very realistic example, I guess. So that's, and John felt so much better after seeing that. You know, he said, yeah, I can see that. That's because he felt he's not allowed to make a judgment, you know. He felt that if he doesn't lend somebody his chainsaw, you know, because he thinks that that person might not look after it, then that is like judging that person. But I think that is making a judgment. And as long as he doesn't say, oh, he's such a bad person and he's not looking after anything, and judge that, that would be the judging we connect to patterns. Okay, I hope that was clear enough. And I would love all of you to, if there has been coming something up for you about this, to share when we start our communication. So please make notes if there is something happening. And then actually something I haven't thought about myself, which Jay brought up, is the actually being judged. You know, it's not just about us judging, but often we get judged by somebody else. And I'm talking here always about people. It can be also situations or things or whatever. It's getting complicated, actually, I just realized. When I said things, I just thought, okay, that 5G tower, you know, I'm judging that 5G tower, G tower. So I'm freestyling here. So what can I do about this? I can say, I can try to make a judgment on the 5G Tao and say, I believe and I experience in myself, and I am experience 5G towers physically. I know that I should stay away from them because I know they are not good for me. But I can try not to judge them because it's not their fault, isn't it? The poor 5G tower has been created by somebody else. Then do I judge that person who created the 5G tower? Ideally, I don't. Man, isn't it tough? Because our mind just can't get that. It's just not possible. It's just not happening that my mind can say, no, I'm not judging people who do bad things or do things to people which are unhealthy and hurt them. But our heart is different. Our heart does not judge, or our true self does not judge. And I guess there is trust again. We need to just trust that, because some things we can't understand. We just can't. And we don't need to. That much to the cognitive mind. Now, I drifted off of being judged. So let's just think for a moment, all of us, go inside and think of a situation in your life when you were judged by somebody. Or maybe we need to say we thought we were judged, or we felt we were judged. It might be we were judged, whatever. It's the mind who thinks about these things again. So let's just bring that awareness to that situation and how that felt. Now, we know that each time our state gets disturbed, it is because of a pattern. So if I have the feeling I'm judged and I get disturbed, that is because of a pattern, of my pattern, not that other person judging me. It's how I am reacting to that judgment. So I am hurt. Why am I hurt? Because my identity, who I think I am, is hurt. And that is not the true self. Because a true self is not hurt. Ever. Ever. Can't be hurt. So in that moment, I can actually go again and say, okay, I feel hurt. I feel it. It's okay. I feel it. It's me, and nothing wrong with it. We don't make ourselves wrong for feeling hurt, or for feeling pain, or for feeling not good. But we know that there is something to look at. We can do that in the moment, if it's possible, or we can do that later on, sitting down, lying down and doing a Lingyuan or something like a Lingyuan, thinking about, okay, this morning I felt judged and I felt really hurt. True self, can you see that happened? So what is the cause? Why did I feel so hurt? In that unification of the heart and the true self, we can ask this question very openly and allow to go deeper and understand why that judgment has hurt me. And then as we keep going through the questions of Ling Yuan or something similar, it can be freestyle. It's important at the end to say, so what is the better way for me to to feel, to behave, to react if I feel somebody's judging me? And I guess it will be a interesting class in the future sometime to talk about that that identification with the I. You know, because if we truly look, anytime we get triggered, anytime a pattern is, you know, there present, it is about the I. It is about that, but I think I'm suffering here if you don't do it how I want it. I am more important than somebody else. I am feeling so bad, and the world is such a bad place. So that's not good for me. So wow, just imagine, was our pattern work? You know, was working on the patterns. We are doing less and less judging. And then with our pattern work, we feel less and less judged because it's not important anymore. Because it's not about the I anymore. The more we work on our patterns. The hurt I. Because who we really are is not that I. It's the true self. And when the patterns get less hold on us, the heart can be more present. And when the heart is more present, our true self can be more present. And to be honest, for me, sometimes the mind comes in and says, shit, are you sure this is good, what you're doing here? Are you sure you can just think like that? Isn't that a bit like, you know, a bit too much? Yeah, the mind does say that. And to be honest, it can feel sometimes like, oh, maybe this is a bit, it's a dangerous path I'm walking here because I'm giving up myself. You know, nothing is anymore, you know, anybody can do to me whatever they want. You know, that's again a fine line there. Because we were talking about the making a judgment. I can still set boundaries. I think the making a judgment has to do with setting boundaries. You know, it's not that I just let everything happen to me without without action. Okay, I think that's more or less what I needed to say. I want to check in with Jay if there has been anything coming up for him. I don't hear you if you're talking.
Beautiful. I really enjoyed that. And it's really interesting to listen to people with your heart rather than trying to think about what they're saying, because there's a level of trust there as well, letting words flow into you. So many things to comment on, but I won't comment on all of it. But what I would like to say is that for me, ideally, well, first of all, about the being judged by others, I'm not going to talk about that too much, but I'm curious if when I feel judged by others, that actually I'm making a judgment on myself, and actually it's the judgment on myself I need to look at, so that, you know, they might judge me and I might feel a certain way, but I need to look at myself because I've made a judgment on myself in that moment as well. But I won't go any more into that. That's just something there to kind of observe. What I would ideally want to do with my judgment is surrender my judgment to the true self and the universe, is to begin to understand that the universe and the true self make the best judgments, or make judgments that reflect reality. Because our judgments, as you know, with the 10 patterns and the 20 patterns, polarized thinking and fixed expectations, don't have the fluidity to match what's really going on. I'll give just a quick example. A couple of examples came to mind, but this first one, we actually was to do with a tenant, was to do with a friend of my wife's daughter. He was needing a place to park his house truck, and we had a space up the back of the property, and he'd been kind of evicted from his last place because he's sort of, well, anyway, I had a lot of judgments coming with this person, and a lot of those judgments came because I used to live in a place that did have house trucks and had people that now I've make a judgment to even communicate this to you, but had people like him living there. Obviously, they're not the same people as him, so they weren't people like him, but they were people. I was living in a place. There was a lot of drug use. There was a lot of drinking and people smoking tobacco and just being kind of idle. Or when they weren't idle, they were disorganized. And when I finally kind of, you know how that is when you're younger, different situations for different people. When I finally moved on from that, I was like, I just didn't want anything to do with that. But he needed a place to live, and I had this kind of judgment of him, like, oh my God, I've seen him hanging out with my wife's daughter and her group of friends, and he drinks and he's smoking cigarettes, and I just don't want someone like that around. And I just had such a heavy judgment. But I was getting a download from the universe, like a really powerful download from the universe, which was saying yes. So my Shen was saying yes in a way that I couldn't ignore it, and my mind was saying no. And I've had that so many times. I've had that so many times with so many things. The universe will be saying something really clearly, and so so he lives here now, and he is who he is, and he's on his own journey, and he gives us a little bit of rent, and it's just, he is who he is. He isn't like one of my qigong students up at the first thing in the morning doing his practice or anything. That it's not about that. It's that the universe will give you these It's really hard to explain. It's simply that the longer you do the practice, one day you'll be doing your squats or your standing form, and you'll meet your true self. You'll meet a feeling of your true self, and it'll just be a feeling of the Shen, and the Shen will start giving you information. It'll start giving you direct information of don't do this, or something isn't right now, or something is right now, or sometimes it'll give you a vision or a clear information. And I just want to surrender my judgments to the universe in that way. Obviously, the true self's for me still fuzzy, so I still have to make decisions. I have to kind of, the information comes in, I get certain feelings that come in. I might, if my partner's involved, or if it's to do with the classes, if Sabina's involved, then I'll say to the other person, what are your feelings on this? What are your gut feelings on this as well? And then I'll look at the whole picture of the information for whatever decision needs to be made, and I make that decision. But I try to surrender the unnecessary decisions. So to use this person as an example, well, I've made the decision, we made the decision, he rents the back of our property. We don't actually hardly see him. He's very independent. He's actually sometimes drops off some building supplies that he's got out of skip bins that he's scored. He's like, hey, do you want some building supplies? And you don't know where any of your decisions are going to take you in any moment. You really don't know. There's no such thing as security, and the true self surrenders the need to control, but the false self, as well as numerous patterns, has that need to control. It's like, oh, I don't want this person here, or I don't want this thing like this. It has to be like this, and it's all the false self is trying to control, whereas the true self, well, it is just already in control. It's all in control. I'll just kind of settle in and see if there's anything else that comes to mind. It's just nuanced. It's just like, make the necessary judgments, but make more of an effort to go into yourself, to kind of use a Ling Yuan or a Tong Yuan process, those meditations that we do, to try to get to, when you need to make a decision, try to find that decision at a deeper place. And also when you do find yourself making judgments, try to look, and also when you do find yourself reacting to being judged or judging yourself, even try to look behind to see what's going on for you. Like, am I feeling uncertain right now and I'm making this judgment because I need to control, or just trying to think if there's other reasons. Maybe for me it's an uncertainty about myself. Yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty there if I feel I need to judge. Well, I do judge a lot, so I've got a lot of work to do as well. But I'm so excited that you brought that up, Sabina, and I think we really just only touched on the surface. But if there's anything, I'll pass it back to you now, and yeah.
Thank you for bringing more attention to the true self, because I looked at the judgment a lot from, it comes from a pattern, but it's nice to say, listen inside and decide, is it a judgment, or does it come from a pattern, or is it actually a necessary judgment? So thanks for bringing that in. But then I think we're done. We can open up to sharing. What I'm doing is I'm just going to quickly go silent and no view, just because I need to do 2 things.
All right.
And Jake, you can kind of just.
Can we stop the recording?
Yes.
You done? Okay, I'm excited. Let's start.
I'll keep the guiding quite open, so you can choose what you do, but I might put a few helping tools into it. It might go 5 minutes over. I have to be honest about that. So just close your eyes and drop right into that place you were in the Chi Field building in the beginning. Into that place of being one with everything. Your body, your chi, your shin, and your shin, we now talk about Jing Shin. It's the heart, true self, consciousness, unity. All of these are unified in this moment. You're turning into Chi. Feel your heart. Connect to the 5 heart qualities there and in the universe. And unify with your Shin Yi, with your true self and your mind, your consciousness. Just be that unification. Being pure awareness. And then from your heart, bring that question of your choice to your Shin Yi. Why, why is this going on for me? Or can you help me understand this event in the past? Can you help me to see the cause for this pattern, or whatever you want to ask? Just make sure you are in that space of unification and ask in that space and allow the answers to come from that space. You're not trying to find the answer is coming to you. And it might not be instant, just be and observe. There might no answer come, that's okay too. Unification. Questions, answers. Try to feel compassion for what is coming up for you, for what you are seeing, for yourself especially in what you are seeing. Can you give that you a hug, a loving hug? You may already have done this, but just ask your true self of, what this has been doing to you in a influencing you in a negative way. Just try to really make that present to you. And feel the compassion for that, for you. And then can you bring in the heart qualities which are needed for this, for you, as a replacement patterns, as a way of being? What is needed for your healing? What is needed for your from now on? And as you bring them into your awareness, these heart qualities, feel them. And feel also how they can transform your experience, your situation, your future. Really feel it. This is G field building too. For every present moment coming up. This is your true self in action. This is you in action. It's action, but it's also stillness. Feel the joy coming with it. Feel the hope coming with it. And then open your arms out to the side and just stay there for a moment. Unifying with everything. Becoming everything. Everything is the wisdom of the universe. Everything is the love and the wisdom of the universe. Just feel it in your heart. Don't try to understand it. Just keep feeling it. Trust that. Everything is the love and the wisdom of the universe. And then just bring your arms and hands back and really integrate this into you, into your heart, into your whole, even into your consciousness. Why not? Unifying it all again. And then open your arms out again and connect to the chi, the bright chi, the information. And bring it back to lower dantian. And nourish chi. And then rub your hands. And do your own head and face.